nice and faster and stronger than we thought. So we are also making a lot of preparation for the graduation event. So we will tell you all about it. And since you all guys are doing such wonderful work with the project, it's really going to be a nice event.
Okay, we have the recording going, and I'm the host.
Okay, very good.
I will let. Okay, great. So now we can start. So what we're going to do today, this evening, we're going to start by introducing everybody. I'm going to tell you who's your partner in school and introduce them as well. And once we do that, each school is going to tell a little bit about themselves, about the school, just in short, very concise, and then telling about their project and what they are doing, what's their plans, if they're in what stage they are. And from there, we're going to move to give you a little bit of information regarding what's next. What are we going to do next? What are we going to do from now until the final event, the graduation event that will take place on the 17th of March. Okay, so let us start by introducing each other. I will tell you, let's start with the Green School. Ilberina?
Yes.
Ilberina?
Yes.
You're from the Green School, right? So introduce yourself and the school. If we have more teachers from the Green School, so introduce them as well, and the students, if you have them here. Say a few words about the project you're doing, and we will continue from there. Oh, you're on mute. You're muted.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Ulberina, and I'm an English teacher at Green School. Also, Drilona Berome is a teacher, biology teacher in Green School. She's here with us. We have three students here, Yona Leo. He is in 9th grade. Also, Laurent, Pervizai, and Denisa Isene are students from 9th grade in Green School.
Okay. And what about your project? Can you say a few words about the project?
We are working on it. We had work continuously on 2 weeks. So today the students are going to present the work.
Okay, so let's meet the students.
Very good. Guys, although we all have your emails and connections and the details, it would be nice if you can add your email and contact information on the chat. So this will be an easy way for the teachers to know who you are. We will also provide them the table, so you don't have to worry about it. But while we are on the call, you can just put in the chat your school, your name, and the information. There's never too much of that, although we do have the information.
Also, the students.
Okay.
Also, the students have to put their emails.
Yes, guys. The students too, if they want to participate and then connect with the other students. It's not a must, but it's nice to have. So it's recorded with the session, with the Zoom session, and it's very convenient. We will also send you later the recording of the meeting so that you can relate to it. So it's nice.
You can pass in a Google form with the details, and we can fill it in.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's proceed.
Okay, so Ilberina, could you please introduce the students that they could maybe tell about the project they are doing?
Okay, the students are hearing you, so they can choose who's going to talk, Jan or Laurent.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yona Leo. I'm 9th grader on Green School, and we actually did a presentation for you, so maybe we could present it right here, or
yes, sure.
Yeah, but
you can share screen.
All right. Can you guys see right now?
Yes, I can see.
All right. So water consumption by Shkola Jalber, that is on Albanian, or Green School in English, was made by a class of 6th, 8th, and 9th graders on Prishtin, Kosovo. So I'm going to do this part, the introduction. Kosovo water resources are divided in 4 main watersheds: the White Dren, or Drini Bar in Albanian, the Iber, the RHAW benches, and the Lepans. According to Equastat on 2017, Kosovo renewable water availability is significantly lower than average compared to regional benchmark. Kosovo is uniquely dependent on international water resources with a very low dependency ratio. The only water that enters the country other than in form of precipitation is the water that enters Gazivoda Lake from Iber River. This is around 9% of total water resources in the country. So now I have some tables for you to present. I don't know if you can see the tables.
It's too small, but you can describe it in just in a few
Right.
words. We don't need the whole very long explanation.
On the table, we can see the use from our water resources. Where are the resources located and when were they built? Like, for example, Gazivoda or Uimone was built in 1979, and we can also see that what they are destined for. Like for watering, only Gazivoda and Radonic are designated for watering. The other four are not. Also, almost all of them are destined for drinking purposes, other than Livoj, that's not destinating for drinking. And for industry purposes, only Gazivoda, Baklava, and Badouti are destined for that. Also, I have a graph right here with statistics about household economies. The blue chart shows how much million are used every year, and we show an increase on economic household year by year. The orange chart shows water supply by industrial activities, which is decreasing a little bit, or rather staying consistent. Also, the green chart shows water supply by institution, which has decreased drastically. We see on 2010 it was way higher than that is right now. So the other part is from the other student. Also, our purpose that we did this presentation is to awareness and education of population for the rational use of water resources.
Okay, I'll take it from here. My name is Liran Pavila. Since I didn't didn't say who I was before, I'm in 9th grade and I'm 14 years old. First, we did the working method. First, we obviously did brainstorming. We had a bunch of ideas, we threw them around, then we took the best ones and we kept them to ourselves. We ended up with about 5 different main points. Then we did splitting of the work. Since I said before, we had about 5 main points. All the splitting of the work was voluntary. Everyone took what they wanted to take and that they thought they had enough knowledge about to actually make the project happen. Then we had also a lecture from water expert Mr. Nishore. Mr. Nishore has actually been in 2 expeditions in Israel, and he showed us the importance of water and how Israel is very good at recycling water, since the water levels over there are so low. We also did the placements of the posters about saving water. These were mostly done by the students, us, and these were placed mostly around the toilets, the toiletry areas. We also did students teach students. We, the 9th graders, taught the 5th graders. We present them project about water. The results of this project or presentation were very positive, I'd say. They were very listenable, and also they made a lot of questions which I was very happy about. Handing out brochures about saving water. We handed these out to first the students, then we handed these out to classes themselves. These, I will show in later pictures, are fun activities. They also have a little bit of facts, and they also work for more awareness. And the last one we did was a project proposal that I made for more reusable water, which I can show after this briefly. About more efficient water use, I'll keep it short on this one, and also later when this project is done. We also have some achievements. We had raising awareness of water use at our school through education activities, also reducing water misuse at school and at home, so the students go back to their home and don't misuse water.
All right. Okay. Ryan, thank you very much. This is a very nice presentation for, for first exposure like this. I would like to ask you a question, guys, for you or for John. One sentence. How would you describe your project? One sentence. What did you do and what did you learn from it? Like in one sentence. Don't read from the poster. Just tell us.
Can I?
All right. Go ahead.
So basically what we learned through this journey or our project is that the main point is saving water, because as a quote says, every drip counts. So basically we need to save water, because if we have enough water now, we tomorrow we may lose water, and we can't afford our water for the main things that we do, like drinking water or cooking.
Okay.
So
Okay, so you learned you need to save water. Okay, very good. I especially asked you the questions to give you a message. You're doing a wonderful work and you presented it nicely in the poster, but there is very little attention available through Zoom and from far, and when you have a lot of people. So you need to be able to present it verbally in sentences, very, very briefly, and also very clearly, because the sound is poor, so it is very hard to understand you. So I will give you an example of how I would present your wonderful work in the poster. I would say, we learn about the resources and sources of water in our country, how they developed in the past, and that they may be in danger in the future. One of the things we can do is save water for our future. So we examined a couple of projects, implemented them, and recommend that we do it. In doing this, we increased our awareness of the situation, and we will work more about it in the future. So just a couple of sentences, very, very clear, very concise, very short, maybe 5, 7, 10 sentences. And you say them very pronouncedly, slowly, so that people can understand. And this is not because of your limited English. Your English is wonderful. It is because of the limitation of the sound. So you have to have light on your face, that people can see your lips when you talk. You need to speak slowly and very, very precise, so to know what you want to say. And of course, therefore, you need much less words than what's in the poster. So the basic poster is okay, the message is okay, your work is wonderful. You need to work more on how to present it. And I will tell you a little secret. If you are not understood, if you are not clear, and people can't understand you, they will not tell you. They will not stop you. They will not make a comment. They simply will not understand. And so they will vanish. They will disappear. And they will not get the idea. For the idea to come through, because of the internet, because of the microphones and the speakers, you have to be very slow, have a lot of light on your face so it can see, and you have to have clear sentences that you see people understand. But otherwise, you're doing wonderful, and I think it's a good lesson for everybody. So I picked on your presentation so that everybody understands it. Excellent work. Thank you very much. And practice it again and record it. And when you record it and see it on the YouTube or on the Zoom, you will be able to get that same feedback you said. Thank you very much. Ram, back to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you very much. It was beautiful. Very nicely done. Great English. So well done.
So should I stop sharing or not?
Yes, you can stop sharing the
Jan,
screen.
Jan, go to other slides.
Yeah, we also have our slide of photos. If you want to see.
Oh, you
what
want to show us the pictures? Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So,
I think we
You can move
mentioned,
through the pictures quickly.
we
All
saw the
right.
pictures mostly in the presentation, and you have to
Yes.
expect the people to be very short in time. So don't try to make them go through all the slides. Show a few. The point is this: if you make it quickly, then it's okay. If this starts to become longer than 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you are losing the people. It is very hard over the internet. So try to be very short.
Okay. So, guys, thank you very much. You can stop the
Thanks.
sharing. Yilberina, I think I will talk to you later on, and I have I think a kind of an exercise I can offer you on how to make things shorter and how to make things more concise. Kind of an exercise with the class, with the students that can make it a fun activity. So we will talk about it. That's it goes for everybody. Okay, so is Uri here already? Did he join us? Okay, hi Uri. How much time could you be here for?
Maybe in just now I can do the presentation now, and I will say as much as
yes.
Okay.
So you are not a partnering school of the Green School we just presented, but I will introduce you because you have to leave, and then we're going to move on to the other schools. Okay, so Uri, introduce yourself
Yes.
and your project.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Uri. I'm the robotics teacher, and I'm from the mechanics department, and I'm building with my students a RHAW, remote operated vehicle. It's the same machine that was discovering Titanic and was taking out some pieces from the Titanic. It's a robot that can walk underwater. On the same time, it can be a worker or explorer. For example, taking samples from the ground, from the sand, water sample, temperature, and things like that. So it can be taken to a place of research or place of doing some maintenance work underwater. I can show you now a digital drawing that what we have accomplished so far. We are using Onshape drawing software. And mainly what I'll show you now, it's the electronics department and the overall structure. The size of this RHAW, it's a small size. It's about 70 centimeters radius, and its weight about 15 kilos. And it can dive something like 30 to 35 meters under the water. And I can do the share, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see something?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is the RHAW. It's using six motors, 4 for horizontal and 2 motors for vertical movement. Those 2 is vertical movements, and the other 4 is for horizontal movement. We can see here the structure, the general structure. This tank is the electronic tank, and here is the input and the output of the wires, different wires, power wires, the motor wires, and etc. Sensors. On the front, this sphere on the front is where we have the cameras. We have about 3 or 4 cameras on this RHAW. One of them is from the center of this sphere, and another 2 will be on the sides of this RHAW and one on the back. Here at the front is going to be an operation arm. Here it's going to be the operation arm in this area here. Here we have 2 flashlights that whenever we are going to dive in deep water, anything more than 5 meters, whenever there is a storm or sand in the water, we will must have light. So those are very powerful flashlights, 2 lights. And here we are hooking up with those 2 holes. We are hooking up the RHAW to the surface. This RHAW is remote operated with via wires. It's not like Wi-Fi or wireless. It's with wires. Because of the problem of controlling something under the water with the waves, radio waves. So everything is going to be operated with wires, and the length of the wire is about 40 meters. That's about it. That's about it. If anyone have a question, this robot can dive in sweetwater lakes, rivers, sea, of course, salty sea. And there are many versions of this device. There's also university versions of this research robots, RHAW robots. And we are looking for a partner that will join, and we will be able to teach him building such a underwater vehicle. This is also a device that can participate in American competition. It's called RHAW competition in the United States. It's for high schools that building those ropes, and they're having task for the schools to make the task in the shortest time. So it's a competition against time to build all kind of construction under the water in a short time. That's about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Uri.
Thank you, guys.
This, of course, is a professional work, and it's done by high school students. So they're
Yes,
a
it's
bit
high school.
older than the average that we have here. And there is a lot of motivation on the protection of sea from plastic and from all kinds of pollutions and so. So there is a motivation behind the robot that relates to our program. This is especially relevant for us on this week because we had a terrible disaster of oil spill on our shores, something very, very terrible that took place in Israel near the shores, and we have a lot of oil on our shores now, a major catastrophe. So this is exactly the time for robots like this to salvage, to research the situation, maybe even to bring alive turtles and all kinds of other poor animals that suffer from the oil, and we can salvage them. So thank you very much, Uri. But I want you all to remember, this is a very high-level project for students who are studying some electronics and robotics and so forth. So don't be overwhelmed with that. It's the motivation for water research and protection of sea that makes this connected. And whoever wants to join us, it will be lovely. Okay.
Thank you.
Uri, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Uri.
Thank you, everybody.
Our next tool that I want to present is the partnering school of the Green School that just presented, Ilberina and her students. So your partner in the program will be the school Taha Hussein from Sakhnin. So who's Nadia? You're from Sakhnin?
Can you write down the name of the school?
Yes. Oh, so don't worry about the details. You will get in the after the meeting. I will send you a summary email with all the information and a link to a table with all the contact details for each school. It will be organized, and you will have all the details. You don't have to write anything down right now. Okay. Sakhnin, Taha Hussein, please present yourself and your project.
Okay, let me go host. To show
Yes, you can share the screen.
Okay, welcome to project from Taha Hussein, Sakhnin. Just a minute. You see the pictures?
Yes.
Yes.
الخريطة قصدي معلم نبيل، شايفين الخريطة اللي مع أرقام؟
لا الأول بعده.
ما تساقط. أوكي.
أنت ما تساقط.
New share I need. Okay.
Okay, we can see the presentation.
presentation.
قصة الخارطة.
الخارطة. Okay. Okay. Welcome to project from Taha Hussein School. We do from the stratum spring, this from the talk Wadi Al-Ain. This is in Sakhnin. Finally, I want to show you a video from the Wadi Al-Ain. Okay. This is the project.
Very nice. So we have a map, an interactive map with points of interest relative to water on the map that we can click and see videos or documents about it, right?
Yes.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, Adam, you want to add a word? Adam?
Adam?
Yes, they still haven't finished, right, Manal? You want to say more about this? Spring?
Yes, she's presenting. Give her the chance.
Yeah.
Okay, so
she will do it much better than me.
Okay. Okay, Manal.
Okay.
Talk to her. But stop the video because we don't have time to see all the pieces. We have to be very precise.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Manal. Tell us more about the project.
Okay. We want to save this water, to lose it, and we want to put a tank, water tank. We will use water tank and other supplies to help us pump the water to the garden. Here, we want to plant a tree, and a tree, medical tree. Yeah. Here, this is the old picture from the Wadi Al-Ain. Okay, I show you many pictures of Wadi Al-Ain.
So you are showing pictures of a spring, right? Is it Mayan?
Yes.
Mayan?
Mayan
Okay, so that's the spring. That's the spring of Sakhnin, the city of Sakhnin. Okay.
Okay.
And you want to save the spring and bring money and bring water from the spring to water the plants around it?
Yes, we want to put here hot water tank and save this water.
Okay.
Don't lose it. I show you presentation here. Okay. Okay. This is Sakhnin. This is picture for Sakhnin. This is the maps for Sakhnin. This is the old picture from Spring Wadi Al-Ain. This is the situation when it's full water. And is another pictures. Our students taking the water service during their trip. The student in action. This is the Stratum Spring. If you want to explain of here, I can.
Not now,
Not
but
now.
it's
Okay.
definitely, yeah, you can continue.
Okay, this is the latitude and longitude for the spring, this.
Okay, maybe you can say, Manal, why do you need the latitudes for? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to calculate?
اوكي هنا نادية عشان نعمل حسابات للمي قديش نرفع ونطلع مي.
Okay, we need all this information to calculate the amount of tools that we need, the water pressure that is needed to pump the water to the garden. We have to calculate all the water surface and the depth and the area around in order to know how much water we need to plant the garden that is our goal, our main goal.
Okay, so you have to check the different parameters in order
Yeah.
to know how to bring the water from the spring to the garden and to water the
Yeah.
plants. And
Yes.
that's basically the project.
No,
This is the
it's very
garden.
Part of
important
the project.
to tell that this spring has a very has a highly historical value for Sakhnin's people. Our
Right.
great grandparents used to use this well this spring to water their plants and sheep and to cook food using this water, and it was like the main source of water for the whole village. It was a small one. Now
For
people
hundreds of
don't
years.
need it, but it is still a historical, it's a tourist attraction,
Right.
actually.
Right. Very good. This is very nice. The fact that you connect it with the history, that it has been used for hundreds of years going back, and that you want to revive it and to consider what it would take to run water from it. So you need all the parameters. So
Yeah.
this is perfect, including your slide about the latitude and the elevation and so forth, and the detail. I think this is very important. So you can provide a little background, but you have to be much shorter and get to the point of this reconstruction of the old ancient fountain or spring, because you don't have time to cover everything. Remember, if you do not deliver the message in 2 minutes, you lose the audience. So you can wrap everything up in 2 minutes, then maybe 1 more minute for questions and responses, and this is it. If you take longer, you lose the people. Now, what do you need to do for that? And this is not just for you, for Sakhnin, but for everybody. You need to write down what you want to say and to do rehearsals. You have to rehearse. You have to speak very fluently, very clearly, and select your sentences and be very precise. You do not have time to wander, to be uncertain about your English or about what you want to say, because in 2 or 3 minutes, you lose the attention of your audience. You see, when you come to the graduation event, and there will be many schools and maybe 50 student groups presenting, you will come there and you will want to visit maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe 10 groups. So if you spend 3 minutes with every group, and then you switch over and all that, before you know it, you spend 1 hour on a website visiting schools. You do not have patience to stay longer. So you are competing for attention. If you deliver the message very shortly, very concisely, people understand it. And then when they grade it, they will give you great grades.
I want to add just one word about this. Thank you very much for the presentation. I just want to add just a half sentence about it, if I may. The original idea for this work is regarding floods and how to make water
flooding. Okay.
Yeah, like from a problem to a resource that you can use. So now
Okay.
this place is of course people used to take the water, and now less people take the water to drink and stuff. Then the water goes around, and they make some problems around. So
Flooding.
it's a pity. It's a pity that good water are going to be a problem.
Wasted. Water is wasted.
Then this project is really it's a bit small in this area, but it can give also ideas for bigger projects. We see a lot of problems like this of floodings and around the world, like we saw in India.
Excellent, Adam. All right, so let's do the following. So excellent. Thank you for the comment, Adam. It is very important. So let's do the following. Let's do the following exercise. Let me give you an example of how I would present this project, which is really very nice. So I would start by saying that Sakhnin is up in the Galilee. There is a lot of water, and sometimes the water can be a problem. We have a water fountain, and we have a big system of water, which we reviewed. And here's a map of all the sites with water around Sakhnin. But there is a lot of water coming from the rain, and this can become a problem of flooding. So our intention in the project was to study the history and the resources and to worry about flooding. And in terms of flooding, we wanted to find use for the water. So we wanted to turn it from a problem to a solution. And then you present your geographical map and so forth and what you did. So now I presented it in 1 minute. There is reason to show the project and everything, and people can understand what you relate to. So it's not as if, you know, people come to school and they have 1 hour to spend with you and you can tell them everything and they will understand. You have to be very short. So try to wrap this up and deliver the message, and then you can look into details. Okay? Thank you very much. The project idea is nice. The history is wonderful. The problem that you address that you want to try and fix is also very constructive. So obviously you raise the awareness of the children and maybe their parents with relation to the tradition of the place. Wonderful. Be concise in the way you present it. Thank you very much. Ram, continue.
Thank you very much. You can stop the sharing. So the Green School and Tar Hussein, you are going to be the partner, the twinning schools for this project. I will soon explain the meaning of what are we doing next and how are you going to do it. Now I want to move on to the next school, which is Millennium School, Shpetim. So the floor is yours, the stage is yours. Present the school. If we have students here, present them as well. Hi, Chen, nice to that you joined us. Present your school and the students and the subject of your research. And next we will talk about the schools that you're partnering with.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shpetim Castrati from Third Millennium School from Kosovo. I didn't invite students. Maybe I...
That's okay. That was only optional.
Okay. So we didn't finish the posters yet, but we're working on the researches. So I'm gonna share screen and I'm gonna present in 1 minute what we are doing and where we are. So I'm gonna share my screen. So first, we're working in 4 topics: water resources and its usage in Kosovo. So it will be a short summary about that. So also we're working with water use efficiency in the household. Also water dispensers versus water bottles, and some art activities for 1 and 3rd grades class students. So we visited the Hydrometeorological Institute of Kosovo, so we have enough data about our water resources and water supply in Kosovo. Also, here was one problem because we wanted to measure the water we used before and it was an action research, but we had problems to check the levels or the amount of water spent by the, I don't know the name of this equipment, measures
the meter.
Water. So
the water meter, okay.
The water meter, yeah. Thanks. So we decided to compare it with our bills about a month. So it's been a month since we started the water efficiency in their houses. So they took actions and we are waiting tomorrow or after 2 days to take the new bills. So to compare bills a month before and this month, so they can see if there is any difference in water usage. Also, they started some posters, but they're not final version. So they took actions, every one of them. They measure the water, how to save and things like that. So another part that we are working, it was a student's idea to compare water dispenser versus water bottles. So what they are working, it was we need 2 more days because of the COVID situation. We couldn't check to touch the bottles. So we collected them, we stored them, and after 2 days, we're gonna start the measuring. So we're gonna, before the COVID situation, we used the water dispensers for students in our school. So now we are using bottles because this needs to be touched from students, so we're not using them. And our aim is to measure the average of bottles used per month. Now, since the COVID-19, water not consumed by bottles, because very often students don't drink the whole bottle and they leave it, they throw it, and we're gonna calculate that. So we're gonna see the cost of the water bottles versus water dispensers in our school. We have all the data before and now, how much we pay for them, and also water used for making bottles. So this is what we are working. We are finalizing this weekend. I think the posters will be ready for next week.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much, Fatim. It's very nice work. It's okay that you don't have the poster yet. We do aim that you will have it for next week, so you're on time. Everything is okay. I have a suggestion, maybe to add for your, instead of plastic bottles, why not use not plastic bottles, glass bottles or metal bottles, something that is not something that is recyclable. For the students.
We discussed with the suppliers, but we don't have other options here in Kosovo.
Okay.
We have
Okay.
just plastic bottles. So
okay.
Or glass waters, but from glass, but they cost much more than that, and we don't have a system of recycling here in Kosovo. So
let me ask you,
but we can't recycle them.
Spatin, let me ask you a question, Spatin. One sentence. What is your final conclusion?
Use water dispenser and not water bottles.
Okay, very good. So so make sure you make this one statement. And this is a very interesting project for the twinning work, because the water quality in Israel is very high out of the tap. So the recommendation in Israel is, when you compare, you do bottles, you do containers, but you also compare it to tap water. And tap water is the best. It is the best quality, the lowest cost, always available. So it will be very interesting when you present your project, and we will see what Israeli schools respond to you, and we compare the situation. So in order to complete your work, you also need to consider, what is the alternative using tap water? Is it good enough? Is it comparable? If it is not comparable, then of course you don't use it. But if it is comparable, you want to consider it. So it is of course much cheaper and more readily available. So bring that into the equation.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we're moving to the last school that we are going to present today, and it's actually your partnering school, Shpetim. The partnering school for Millennium School is RHAW, בית הספר RHAW מטוס from Haifa. And Yael, you're with us. You're the representative of RHAW. Present yourself and the school, and what is your project about? It doesn't matter if you have a presentation or a poster or not. You can present it.
Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Yael. I'm from Haifa in Israel. We have a little bit different project, I think, from what I saw, because we gave the student to choose their topic. They're working in groups, and after we talked about environment and and ecological footprint, I just asked them, me and the other teachers, to think how they can change it, what they can do to change, but not only what they're doing in their home, but to change some communities, a group of people, students or people from the neighborhood, whatever they want, and every group choose their subject. It's going through how to save fuel by going on buses, or how to use more paper bags and not plastic bags, and how to save water or save electricity. Each group just needed to choose one topic and decide of any action they can do to change how people act in their life. I mean, one point that we asked them that it shouldn't be just get people be aware of the problem, and so they also need to do something. Each group choose something else. Some students started a website in their neighborhood to make people walk together instead of going on their car. The site is not ready yet, but something like create forum groups to decide when are they walking together, find subjects or topics that they like so we can talk on the walk, and just make people enjoy walking instead of getting their car and going alone on the road. Other students wanted the students to use the young children school to use boxes, food box for plastic box for their lunch in school instead of wrapping it in a plastic bag. So they started a class, just getting now with the Zoom, they need to find the time and get inside the class of first graders, and they teach them how to decorate the boxes and do a competition who has the great plastic or the best plastic box, and to make the students come with a plastic box instead of the paper that instead of the nylon, instead of just throwing it away.
So instead of wrapping your sandwiches with nylon and plastic bags, they are going to make kind of an arts and craft thing, make a reusable box for their lunch boxes, basically.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, so they have many ideas. What we are doing now, before they're putting their ideas in action, they do a poll survey around the students or the community that they are going to do their actions before and after they start the project. It means they check two things. First, how much people really know their effects on environment, like asking them how much garbage do you think one household makes, or how many plastic bags are taking in a year in Israel, and to see if after they do their project, if people suddenly know the truth, know really how much they affect the environment. And the other thing we want to check if people change their way of life. Do really people come with reusable boxes, reusable bottles? If people walk or go by bus instead of car, after the children, the students do their work, find a way to change how people act. So we hope it will work, but we have a lot of subjects and many ideas, and we are still thinking how we can put as many ideas in one posters. But I think it will be interesting to see what will go in the end.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You see first of all, Yael's school, they have 5 classes. They only started the project very recently, so they're catching up quickly, but they have a big advantage because they are used to working on projects, so they have this practice. The students are quite young. This is 6th graders, but again, they're practiced on working on projects. Now, this is a multi-level project now. You have to understand that Yael is addressing the awareness on ecological footprint in general, not just water. So what they did was they exposed the classes to all the questions associated with recycling of paper, water, plastic, energy, green energy, and what have you. So very broad. And so they allowed the students to pick the subject they wanted, but what they are asking them to do is to actually exercise some work and to see the impact of their work on the environment, on people, on the society, on their families, and so forth. So this is very, very important. Now the experiment become a sociological experiment. The subject matter of recycling is what we deal with, but they really want to have an impact on society, or rather to have an examination, a research on how they will be able to affect society. So it is very active for the children. And then the children will come back and say, well, we spoke to the families and all that, and it didn't do an impact. We made a big drawing and it did have, or we presented a video and it did work. So they will do some comparative work on how they had an influence. So they are actively involved in our goal. Remember, we want to elevate their awareness and to transfer over the responsibility to them. So keep that in mind when we do the project. This is education, of course. We want them to do education research. We want them to study how to do a project, how to present it, and so forth. But we want to also increase their awareness. Our goal is that they will capture the fact that they need to take control over it. So the project from Yael's class is marvelous because it goes straight to the target. Can you have an impact? Do you understand the problem? Can you have an impact? And you want to bring that in mind on all the projects, because it's not that we are aiming for the children in Saknin to build a new duct for the well or for the fountain, or to analyze the water situation in Kosovo and resources and all. We want them to have an impact. We want them to become responsible, to understand the things. So this is very helpful. Thank you very much, Yael, for joining us, and I think you're doing wonderfully. All right, Ram, back to you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Yael. As I said, Yael's school, the RHAW, will be partnered with Millennium School. And now I'm going to, after we've introduced everybody, I'm going to show you a short presentation regarding what's next, what our next steps will be, how our things are going to be next until the graduation event, to make sure we're on the same line, on the same page, and we have all the information. So let me just share the screen for a second. Do you see my screen now? Amnon, can you see my screen?
I beg your pardon? Yes.
Do you see my screen? Do you see the presentation?
Yes. Yeah,
Great.
we were on mute, that's why.
Okay. Okay. So information and direction for participating in school. What we're doing now is, as I said, explaining what's next, what are our next steps, and giving you all the information you need, including the schedule and guidelines, some guidelines for how the products should look like, and what is the cooperation is going to be like between the different schools. So what we did so far, we had stage one, we did the introduction, we've been meeting with the schools, both in Kosovo and each high-teach coach with his own schools in Israel. And we've had quite a few meetings. We gave you all the learning materials. You could use them, either you did or you didn't. It depends on your project. We've showed you some examples for online experiments. But the main issue is that we got you to start getting your project ready. And we are in a very good shape today. I was really happy to see what you did and what you bring, what you meeting, both Millennium School and the Green School. You're in a very good shape. And also the Israeli schools. I see the projects are very diverse and very interesting. Now we are in stage 3. That means that we have to complete our research projects. And that's our aim until next week, basically. Our aim is to finish and finalize the research projects and complete them and to have some kind of a product. Now, this product can be a slideshow, a presentation, it can be a short video clip, and it can be a poster, or it can be any combination of these three. You can have them all if you want, and you can have at least a poster or a presentation. We would like you to have a video clip too, but that's an option. It's optional. Okay. After this meeting, I will send you probably tomorrow. I will send you a summary email with this presentation, with this slideshow, with links to the materials, the English materials, English poster templates, and everything you need. So you don't have to write it down now. What we want you to do is English proofing. By that time, make sure the posters are written in good English. That's not the main issue of this project, but still we want people to be able to understand what you're writing. And what we do is by the next week, we want you to send this product, whether if it's a poster or a presentation, we want you to exchange your product with your partnering schools. And that means that, for example, Millennium School will send his product, his presentation, for example, to RHAW School, and RHAW School will send their presentation to Millennium School. And then once you get these products, we want you to make some kind of a learning process with your students. Take this project and start to learn about the differences and similarities and the challenges that each country is facing. In this instance, Kosovo versus Israel. What is their challenges? What is our challenges? And what's the different solutions that we are implementing in order to solve these challenges? And start talking about it with the students. We want to get them to talk, get them to be involved in each other's project.
Ram, let me interrupt you here. Let's give them a couple of examples. You see, we had a presentation that Uri told us about the ROV, and it is dependent on our relations to the shore. The shore is very long in Israel, very, very long. Israel is thin and along the shoreline. How relevant this is for Kosovo? You compared the quality of, or really the entire system of water usage from bottles or from containers. How is it from taps? Is this relevant compared to what it is in Israel? So the idea is that you do not have to do the same project together. Just take advantage of the fact that there were projects done and give your feedback for what you did. So RHAW in Israel, we're doing some work on the influence, on the awareness, on how you do some impact on the society. And you did some research in other schools as well. So you don't have to do the same subject together. Just take a view of each other's project and give your impression as it relates to what you did. So what is similar, what is different, and this will enrich your experience. So you get a response from another school as to how is this relevant to the other school. So don't worry about this being the same. You don't have to build an ROV like Uri did. Uri is worrying about the sea, how you protect the sea, and how you worry about the environment, and so forth. So relate to this. So this is an overall relationship between the project and not necessarily complementary or working together.
Yes, thank you, Amnon. So the main issue and the heart of the cooperation between the twinning schools is basically to generate a constructive feedback between the two schools. So once you get a project of the other country, you are going to generate a feedback, and I will outline how it should look like in a few slides. And you send it back, your feedback, to the twinning school, and you're going to get your feedback as well, and you have to learn this feedback and maybe make some adjustments in accordance with the feedback that you get from your partnering school. The point is to learn and to make a cooperation around learning. Once we do that, our aim is to schedule a joint meeting again. But this time it's going to be not in the same form that we have now with all the schools meeting again, but just the partnering schools. That means that Millennium School will be scheduled to meet RHAW School separately from the green school that will meet Taha Hussein. Okay, and there it's going to be me and Amnon with the local high teach coach that will mentor and supervise this cooperation and this meeting. And what we're going to discuss in this meeting is you're going to present your ideas and the final project that you reached so far, and rehearse your presentation towards the final event, because in the final event in the 17th of March, you're going to have to present your products. And so what we want to do in this meeting is to make sure that we are polishing your presentation skill, that we are polishing your slideshow or your poster, and to make sure that things look very good. It's a good chance to involve the English teacher if you want, and make it an exercise for English. And presenting is a very important skill anyway, so that's something that we really want to emphasize here. And of course, a high teach coach will assist and provide assistance with guiding you how to present things and how to make a good presentation. In this case, the Millennium School, you will your guide will be me, and the Green School, your guide will be Adam, that we introduced in the beginning of the conversation. I will be around anyway, supervising the entire twinning process, so I will be in both meetings anyway. During the joint meeting, we're going to invite the relevant Rotarians to join and ask questions and maybe say a few words about the process and what we reached so far. And this is going to be kind of a general rehearsal towards the final event, because in the final event, you will get a time slot to present your product, your research, and you're going to be able to interact with your twinning school, but not just your twinning school, but you will be able to interact with other schools in Europe, in Romania, in Poland, in Albania, in the United States, and in Israel. Of course, we have more than 30 schools in Israel that are going to participate. Some of them are participating in the twinning project, some of them are not. So you will be exposed basically to to all schools around the world, and it's going to be a very interesting experience for the students and for the teachers alike. Guidelines regarding the product, regarding whether if it's a presentation, a slideshow, or a poster.
Excuse me.
Yes, Nadia.
A minute. I have to leave now because I have another Zoom waiting for me. Sorry for that, guys.
That's okay.
I thought it would take an hour, but it exceeded the time limit. Thank
yes,
you.
I'm
it
trying
was really
to
enriching. It was highly enriching. Thank you.
You're welcome.
1 minute, Nadia, before you leave, I want you all to remember that we provide you with these guidelines so you have a way to start and collaborate. You don't necessarily have to follow it exactly. In other words, if you have another idea, other than comparing, working together, developing something new, don't look at these guidelines as constraints, as a limiting factor. It's an idea for you to start working with, but don't use this as a constraint to limit you. You can use your imagination, do something else. Instead of presenting a poster and so forth, you want to create a piece of music together with the two classes, fine, that's okay. Use your imagination. We provide you a framework, an idea of how to go about. You can follow it, you can change it. It's your project. It's meant for you and for your students to enjoy. Remember that.
Okay.
Thank you, Amnon. So I will not go through the guidelines because, as Amnon said, these are just it's guidelines. You can do whatever you want as long as you present it concisely and accurately and reasonably. You have an example also for a poster, how a poster should look like. Of course, there is way too much words here. Use more graphics, use figures, use pictures to bring your message. That's what attracts the eyes, and it's very easy to understand once you have something that is more visual. So you can use this example. Now, regarding the review guidelines, this feedback that you're supposed to supply your twinning partners, We have also guidelines for that, just to make sure you're in the right directions of what to say. Basically, first of all, and most importantly, it should be constructive criticism or constructive feedback, not criticism. We want to be able to learn from it. Now, English is important, but it's not the main issue here. So try not to talk too much about if you have any English errors or any kind of typos. Don't ignore it. You can comment about it, but that's not the main issue. What you wanted to talk is about your learning experience from this exchange of knowledge. How are the water challenges and solutions similar or different between the two countries? What's the implementation and value of this team project, and what you learned from? And how did you interact with water utilities or the industry in each case? And so you have quite a few guidelines here or bulletins that you can relate to and make it a very concise file. I mean, it should be not more than a one-pager of feedback. Okay, very concise, very short, of course, in English. And make sure you take it, once you receive it, take it and learn from it with your students. Give it a lesson or two. Timeline, and that's where the important things are. So as I said, by the end of the next week, our aim is that you only send and receive your project product, and also sent and received the product, your feedback, whether if it's on your poster or presentation, it doesn't matter. So that's by the end of the next week. That's very ambitious, but it's something that we can do, and we really don't have any other choice, because on the 17th is the graduation. Now, from the beginning of the first week of March, what we do is we want to start loading your products to our website to make sure it's working correctly and make sure it looks good, and start rehearsals with your students on how they present things and about their presentation skills. So that should take a couple of weeks to make sure we have everything polished and concise and very accurate. So once you present it on the 17th of March, it's going to be very accurate and very good. And so that's about it. On the 22nd of March, we're going to have a second, around the International Water Day, we're going to have a second event, but that's going to be something that is more voluntary. We're going to talk about it later on. Arnold, do you want to add a few words? I also want
I think you wrapped it up beautifully. I think it's very clear now. And let's see if our guests have questions.
Yes, and I also want to have the Rotarians from Kosovo to say a few words once we're done.
Arben will be glad to say hello. How are you, Arben?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Arben. Is Dardan here too?
Sorry?
No. Is Dardan here too, or just it's Arben? Okay, so we have one representative.
We have Patrick, we have the whole band.
Okay, so welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a great time and very encouraging to see this happening and developing so far. Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
This is a good, concise comment, because we've all worked together very hard for very long to get to this point, and it's really nice to see how this is picking up, and it's really developing nicely. So we're very pleased with it. Thank you for joining and for pitching in, and thanks to our teachers, and most importantly, thanks to the students. What do the students think about what we do? This is the important thing. Denisa, what do you think? Or maybe Jetta or Muhammad, or who else is here? Yeah, Denisa, what can you tell us? What do you think of what we do here?
I think it's cool. We learned so much things, and the twinning process is very interesting for me, because we experience new things that we didn't experience till now.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good.
Amnon, do you want to wrap it up? Do you have any questions? The teachers, the students? Everything is clear?
Leonard, what do you think? Tell us what you think.
About the twinning process?
Now, Leonard, this is the situation now is that all of us, all of the teachers are now being graded by you. You are the teacher now. What grade do we get?
I think you get an A+ with a little star.
All right. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. All right, Ram, go ahead.
Okay, so of course, if you have further questions later on, if something is not clear that comes up your mind, I am available. I've been talking to Ilberina a few weeks ago after she wanted to ask something, so I'm available for you for whatever question you have, both on mail or Zoom meeting, WhatsApp, whatever you need. If you don't have any further questions, then I will just say that again, tomorrow I will send everybody a summary email, including all the details and our next steps and what are we going to do next, with the presentation I showed you, with the schedule, with the poster templates, both in English and in Hebrew for the Israelis. So you will have all the information and products that you need. And that's about it. So from now on, we're going to be meeting in smaller forums with just the twinning schools, and we're going to start advancing with the cooperation, and that's it. And hopefully, we're going to get to the graduation event with everybody happy and with nice projects to present. That's about it.
And thank you very much on behalf of the Haifa Rotary Club and the Water and Sanitation Committee in Israel, all the Rotary clubs in Israel, and of course all the Rotary clubs in Kosovo, Albania, Romania, Poland, and around the world, and America. Thank you very much and keep going. We're looking forward to see you on the graduation.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.